Good morning, everyone. On this Wednesday, the 24th of September, our Heritage Day here in South Africa. It's lovely to have many of you online with us. And then I hope those who listen to the recording also enjoy it. I was just mentioning that it's pouring with rain outside here. And in fact, this week we've got two boys outside in the mountains, camping and hiking with as part of their school journeys. So William's been out there for nearly 2 weeks now, well over 10 days. And Finn, they just started this week, but they're meant to be summiting in Tlazan, which is sort of a famous peak near my class. And yeah, we just woke up to pouring rain. So I'm very much holding them in my heart, and as well as Pips at Quest. And we are finally moving back into our home, and it's a time of unpacking and clearing. And it's perfectly timed astrologically as well, even though this was not intentional, but I'll share that with you now. And there's obviously been so much in our feeds and in our internationally, what with Charlie Kirk's death and then his memorial, which seemed like a massive revival. And so it's incredible to see how things are moving and changing. And there's also these rabbit holes one can go down. I've been listening quite a lot to Candace Owens and seeing other stuff online. So I feel like I'm kind of dark here. Yeah, that's better. And it's important for us to learn to stay in our centers because we can't change these things, but we can not get caught up into them. So yeah, it would be lovely to have a bit more of a conversation between all of us, but we'll leave that for another time. So it's the new moon in Virgo. It was on the 21st of September. And then it was the spring equinox on the 22nd of September. And every equinox is about balance because it's the equal day and night. It's when the sun is directly above the equator. And so in the southern hemisphere where we are, it heralds the arrival of spring, and it's got very much an energy of an emergence and the return of the light. For the UK, and I know we do have some UK friends who listen, it's the autumn equinox. And so in the northern hemisphere, it's the time of harvest, it's a time of gratitude, thanksgiving, and also a time of descent into more of an inner place, which is what winter does. So equinoxes are always about the light and the dark and honoring both in our environment and both in the world. And then the lunar eclipse, there was that lunar eclipse, that full moon lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago in the sign of Pisces. And now we're at the new moon of that full moon. So we've had a waning moon, and the new moon has got a solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo, which hasn't been as visible to us, but it's in the sign of Virgo, and it's the second new moon in Virgo this month. So all the Virgo themes that we discussed last week around perfectionism and shut up here and service are very, very big themes. So it's Virgo's connected a lot with service, also with healing. It's a sign of discernment and having the discernment inside us about this is good for me, this isn't good for me, this is healthy, this isn't healthy. So it's really around tapping into that inner discernment. And new moons are very much, as we've always said, a time for letting go, looking at what needs to be cleaned and cleared. And so that's why creating sacred space in our homes, in our bodies, in our lives, this is a very big theme at the moment. So if you're trapped inside today because of the weather, maybe it's a good time to clear things physically around you. And the eclipses are like the new moon on steroids. So it's a really, really big time of clearing and of asking ourselves what we are holding on to physically, emotionally, and you can listen to someone like Michelle McClellan to hear much more about this, but it's a question for ourselves. What am I holding on to? And forgiveness can also be a big part of this. Are we holding on to a resentment, a hurt? Have we forgiven ourselves for something we may or may not have done? And so it's just seeing what comes up in the next few days and in the past few days, because this is time has spread over from just before the new moon and it's still going. And setting the intention to release things and release anything that comes up. So just by setting that intention and noticing if things come up, or even if there are aggravations or irritations, just noticing and then allowing them to be seen and breathing out and releasing. And just to think of it as almost blocking our channel. And we are channels of light. So we want that light to flow through us. We don't want there to be blockages that are stopping it. And it's a time, as I said, to let go of the pressure to be perfect, and let go of old routines and roles that may not serve us or nourish us. So it's a good time to join our spring shed. For those who are interested, we've got the information session next Tuesday on the 30th, but the registrations are now already open, and we're doing the actual spring shed is now set for 10 days because it makes it more accessible for a lot of people to join, and then we can repeat it the same schedule for the next week or 2 weeks if people are wanting to continue. And it's really a focused time, physically and emotionally, diet-wise. It's not hectically restrictive or anything. It's very, very nourishing and supportive. So I hope you'll consider joining us. And it's a time to clear our temple of our body, a temple of our home, and to open to the light. So there's a very beautiful poem that we've looked at before, and it's so appropriate for this time. And so it's called A Hopi Elder Speaks, and many of you will be familiar with it, and I'm very familiar with it, but every time I hear it, it brings something more to me. So I invite you just to take a deep breath in and breathe out. Close your eyes or drop your gaze, and just to allow these words to land. You've been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. There are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for the leader. Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time. There's a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel that they are torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time for the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And just allowing those words to settle in our hearts and bodies. As a leaf may drift down and settle on the surface of a pond, so we bring our attention to our bodies and to our breath. Tapping into that still center, that temple within the sacred center. And as we sit here this morning, assuming a posture that is upright, dignified, expanded, noticing feet on the floor, on the earth. Feeling into rootedness, groundedness. Noticing your seat on a cushion or chair. Feeling into the stability and support that these offer. Noticing the uncurling of the spine out of the pelvis to the rib cage, neck, shoulders, head towards the heavens. So we sit intentional and focused, yet allowing for a softness. Just sitting in our bodies. And dropping into our sacred center, to our heart space. Just feeling into the rise and the fall of the chest, each breath. Just paying close attention to each breath. Noticing each breath as if for the first time. Settling in that center, inviting a sensation of gratitude to our heart center. Perhaps gratitude for rain, gratitude for comfortable bed, warm clothes, gratitude for this body. Whatever comes up for you today. As we sit here, feeling sensations of gratitude, perhaps warmth or light in our center, setting the intention to clear our temple, to allow the light in, to allow the light to flow. Knowing we can return here to our sacred center for wisdom and guidance whenever we need. To let go of things that no longer serve us. Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time. There's a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They'll try to hold on to the shore. They'll feel they are torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time for the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And so just sitting in silence for a few more minutes, tapping into our breath and our heart space. And then perhaps these final moments sharing this sensation of love and light with those closest to you, the ones you're thinking of sending prayers for, wanting to support, just holding them in your heart space. Not having to formulate prayers, just holding them in the space. When you're ready, taking a deep breath in and audibly exhaling, letting go of anything that's come up, letting go of attachments, letting these thoughts drift away like a balloon drifts up into the sky. And when you're ready, just gently moving into fingers and toes, ankles, wrists, shoulders, lower backs, gently stretching into your body. And when you're ready, opening eyes and coming back into the room and space you find yourself. Thank you, everyone. I wish you a blessed Heritage Day and yeah, a blessed time of noticing what comes up for you and what can be cleared for all of us. Please feel free to unmute and share anything that's come up for you. And if you need to get on with your day, please do so.
Thanks, Nick. That was beautiful.
Gail,
It's just
thank
so
you.
lovely just to sit and think about those things. I mean, there's so much that we actually need to let go, and that letting
Mm,
that light, that was a lovely thought because
mm,
letting the light, think about light and the warmth it brings, and it
mm.
just brings that energy to you. So that's
Yeah,
lovely.
it does.
I will
And when we
definitely
have our stuff that we're holding on to, it often causes a blockage to that. And so yeah, thank you.
yes.
Thank you, Gail. Yeah. Thanks,
Good
everyone.
luck with your good
Yeah.
luck with your packing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a good day for it. So yeah, we're going to try and bring this energy that we've cultivated here and bring it to what we're doing because I can find it very overwhelming. So thank you. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy the beautiful day, Sue.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nath. Nice to have you with us.
Bye.
Love to everyone. Bye. See you next week.